Alright guys, what's going on? It's the Air Raid Lord here, and I'm doing a vlog for a TV series that I don't normally upload any footage for, really. I've mentioned it in a few updates on my channel, but I haven't actually gone forward and made a proper video for it. Of course, as the title suggests, I'm talking about Game of Thrones. I was a latecomer to Game of Thrones, hadn't read the books. It was a suggestion from my friend Jack, who actually does the Walking Dead videos with me, co-op. He suggested the series, and I had heard the series from a lot of other people as well. So I had started it fresh. I binge watched it last year. Uh, yeah, it was right before season 5 came out. So I binge watched seasons 1 to 4, and then season 5 came out, and I didn't watch the episodes live. Um, I I used to have HBO on my cable network, but I've kind of switched it on and off, so I don't consistently have HBO. But I season 5 I didn't watch live. This season though, season 6, I actually got HBO now for my iPhone. So I've been watching season 6 live at 9 o'clock Sunday nights. Same time Walking Dead's on, actually. But since it's the off season, it's not going to be on until October. I've been watching the episodes live. I've been just reacting on my own, kind of just watching it in the solace of really my own company and just, enjoying it on my own. I was watching it with a few friends before, but now I've just been kind of enjoying it on my own. But this season has been explosive so far. It's 6 episodes in. There's 3 episodes left. Episodes 7, 8, 9, and actually 4 episodes: 7, 8, 9, and 10. So there's still a good chunk amount of content. A lot of things can still happen. I wanted to make this vlog to review the first half of the season and also tell you guys that I'm thinking of doing reaction videos for the remaining episodes of season 6. See how people like them. Just because also there's just been a lot of stuff going on in Game of Thrones. And I feel like with the things that are being foreshadowed, it would make a great reaction video considering the content that's come out for The Walking Dead. I feel like after doing an entire season of reaction videos for season 6 of The Walking Dead, I feel like while we wait for season 7, because the reaction videos for that won't obviously be out until season 7 resumes for that show, I figured that why not? We'll do some Game of Thrones stuff. I had contemplated this for a bit, but then just based on the nature of this season, it's just been pretty crazy. Now, I will be discussing some spoilers, so if you're not caught up with Game of Thrones completely, up to episode 6 of season 6, I would advise maybe skipping portions of this video. However, we will be talking overall just about season 6 and some of the things that have been going on. And they've just been adding a lot of content to the show. The big mystery going into this season at first was, is Jon Snow dead? Is he alive? Is he dead? Season 5, the way the camera angle kind of panned in while he was dead on the ground, bleeding out, led a lot to believe that there was a possibility that he would be resurrected with the Red Woman returning. That was the big theory, that he would be resurrected. Uh, it ended up happening. And again, unlike with The Walking Dead, where I kind of knew some spoilery content, I kind of knew the comic book storyline. With this, I didn't know. I didn't know at all what was going to happen with Jon Snow. I thought maybe he would just be dead and there would be some other hero. Maybe Daenerys would be the new kind of protagonist who's going to take back the Iron Throne. But no, Jon Snow awakens at the end of the second episode, so it's not like I almost felt like they were going to drag out the whole Jon Snow thing. Like, oh, you won't see him resurrect until episode 8 of season 6. But the second episode in, Jon Snow is back. And it happens at the end based off the resurrection of the Red Priestess. I love the scene when the wildlings come back and defend his body. Like when Sir Alistair and the traitors of the Night's Watch are trying to break in and get Jon Snow's body. Sir Davos is in there with a couple of loyal Night's Watch people. And that giant, what's his name, Wung Wung or something, the huge giant guy for the wildlings, and then Tormund and his guys come through, and then that's it. They basically it's such a cool throwdown because for a while For a good number of seasons, I'd say up until season 5, the Wildlings were an enemy, an adversary of the series. But ever since Jon Snow saved them from the whole massacre at Hardhome, they've been, I've been rooting for them. They've been awesome. They're on Jon's side, and it looks like they're going to be throwing their hats in the ring for this big battle against the Boltons, which I'll get to in a second. So yeah, it was really cool to see that. So that was in terms of Jon's storyline. I love what they're building up with this big battle against the Boltons. With now that Sansa and Jon are teaming up, that the reunion was cool as well. Usually we don't get many Stark reunions. Ever since all the Starks went their separate ways, we really haven't seen any of them interacting with each other. But it's cool to see them finally reuniting. That was nice to see Sansa and Jon Snow reuniting. That was cool. But it's going to be even cooler in the next episode to see the various houses of the North being recruited in this big army to fight against the Boltons. Because the Boltons, according to episode, what was it, 4, the Boltons have 5,000-ish guys. The Wildlings have 2,000. So there's a bunch of clans in the North that they're going to have to recruit. Also, there's a possibility that Peter Baelish, the Littlefinger, is going to use the Knights of the Vale to throw in his, basically redeem himself for handing Sansa over to Ramsay. Now, I don't know if he knew if Ramsay was a jerk the whole time or if not. He seemed remorseful in that episode where Sansa and Brienne confront him. Was it episode 5 or 6? So I'm thinking that he's going to potentially redeem himself. Maybe he'll throw his hat in the ring. Now, Littlefinger obviously has his own plans. He expressed being Warden of the North if he were to take Winterfell. So he always has some extra plan hidden up his sleeve. He's such an unpredictable character. So I don't know if he's truly going to throw his support as the Lord of the Vale. So he hasn't had much screen time this season. There was only the one scene where he was at the Vale with Jon Arryn, and then there's the scene with Sansa where he's apologizing for handing her over. So he hasn't had much screen time. He had more screen time in season 5 when he was traveling with Sansa, and then when he had that meeting with Cersei. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. If he returns, I'm assuming he might return for the Battle of the Boltons. So I'd be interested in seeing more Littlefinger. So that's cool. So that, in terms of the northern stuff, they're really building up Ramsay to be this big jerk. Just in the second episode, we had a lot of deaths. Just in the first 2 episodes alone. Roose Bolton finally met his end. Ramsay delivered the same way that Robb Stark got killed by Roose Bolton. I guess what comes around, what's the saying? What comes around goes around, kind of thing. Since Roose killed Robb, his own king, now Ramsay kills his leader, father. So that's that's nice. I mean, I was expecting Roose Bolton to again. I never expect these deaths so soon. I never expect these deaths to occur so soon. Like this, we're in the second episode into the series, and it's like, oh, okay, Roose Bolton dies, and then the whole thing with the Dornish people, which I'll get to. That's an entirely separate thing that kind of pissed me off. Sir Alistair and the traitors, Ollie, the people that actually killed Jon Snow for the first time, them being hanged for their crimes, which I suppose that was long overdue, and I guess they got what was coming to them. That was a nice end for Sir Alistair. I like how he stuck by his principles to the end. He was for the Night's Watch. He defended the Night's Watch. He didn't like the Wildlings. He was just who he was. He didn't break his character, and he died. That's why he had that saying, I fought, I lost, and now I rest. It was like, all right, he's not going to cry and whimper about it. He lost, he stood by his principles, and he died. So that's good they didn't do character assassination with him. What they did do character assassination for was the whole Dornish storyline. Now, at the end of Season 5, when Myrcella dies, I was expecting this to have some sort of effect on Trystane, which was Myrcella's husband, the intended marriage that was set up. And then, what was his name? Doran? Trystane's father, the Prince of Dorne, or the leader of Dorne. The screen time is barely anything. There's a scene in Dorne where he's sitting down. He receives a letter. He reads the letter and discovers that Myrcella was poisoned. As soon as he realizes this, his giant bodyguard brute with that giant axe immediately gets killed by the sand snakes. Those women who are Oberyn's daughters and his wife, they kill the bodyguard and then they kill basically the leader of Dorne, and then they take control of Dorne, saying that the people of Dorne despised him for not doing anything when their people were killed. It sort of, the logic of why she did it made sense, but at the same time, she's killing members of her family to avenge her husband who was a member of her family. So I'm trying to follow the logic here. It just seems so sudden. The first episode of season 6, two major players of the Dornish storyline are just executed. And apparently a lot of people have been frustrated with how the Dorne storyline has been handled. Apparently in the book it's handled differently with George R. R. Martin, how he structured that. I have no idea why they did what they did. The whole thing, season 5, the Dornish storyline was a huge part because Bronn and Jaime go to rescue Myrcella. There's a lot of, waiting around, planning it out, not much kind of happens, and then finally they fight briefly. There's terms that, Trystane has to take a place on the small council because Oberyn was promised before he died. Myrcella is still supposed to be married, but Oberyn's wife is being a bitch the whole time, and then she pulls off her final maneuver and kills her before the end of season 5. So there was a story arc to that whole thing, but where it leaves off with the leader of Dorne, for me, there was just no payoff. I just didn't understand where in the story it's going. And now, we're in 6 episodes into Game of Thrones. Episode 7 airs next week. There has been nothing with the Dornish people since. They appeared in episode 1. The Sand Snakes and Oberyn's wife took control of Dorne. Jaime mentions it during a small council meeting, and then that's it. There's been no sign of the Dornish, what they're planning to do. Maybe they'll come back to King's Landing and throw their hat in the ring with this whole High Sparrow situation. I have no fucking clue. I hope it's not, by the end of season 6, the Dornish are just left to fucking sit in the sun. I hope there's some resolution with them. I know eventually in the later seasons there will be, but it's stupid that, right now it's there's the leaders die and these characters that were left off from season 5. Why bring them back? Why bring them back to season 6 for one scene just to be murdered? I was just like, really? I was like, I seriously thought Trystane was supposed to be on the small council. That would have been interesting to see how a Dornish person dealt with this whole conspiracy of the High Sparrow and the crown and that plot line. So disappointed with Dorne overall. Just wanted to throw that out there. I'm also kind of disappointed with Arya's storyline. I like that they're not lingering around. I like that she got her eyesight back pretty quickly. That she learned to fight blind with the stick, kind of like the Morgan stick fighting. The only thing is, I don't know where her storyline is going. In the most recent episode, she didn't poison that woman from the play and kind of went against the faceless gods, which means that she's probably going to be kicked out, considering she found Needle, her sword, and took it out from hiding. It basically affirms to me that she still wants to be Arya Stark and she doesn't want to be a faceless person. But where is she going to go? Is she going to go back to Westeros? How much longer is she going to stay in Braavos and deal with all of that stuff? I don't know. I don't know how long she's going to last. I'm hoping by the end of the season she heads back to Westeros, because that's what I'm really hoping. I'm hoping by season 7-ish, most of the characters converge on Westeros and all of their storylines start converging and, wrapping up. I don't want to say wrapping up because I know the show will wrap up by season 7 or 8, but I hope that starts to happen. I hope that these characters start to all converge on one another and that their storylines all start to overlap. That was what happened in season 5 when Tyrion met Daenerys, and there was overlap in their storyline. So I'm hoping that's flushed out a little bit more. Daenerys' storyline, incredible. Just she's gone from 0 to 100 in just a few episodes. Taking control of the Dothraki, burning the whole building. It was kind of weird to me. She's just tipping over these fire urns. I was like, why would they have such flammable material for a tent if they have these fire urns? What if someone accidentally pushed it over and just burned the whole fucking place alive? rather than Daenerys doing it on purpose. But still cool. My friend calls Jorah Mormont Captain Friendzone. Him and Dario trying to find her. It's cool that I don't know where Jorah's storyline is going to go now that he's looking for a cure for his grayscale. Don't know where that's going to lead. I'm not sure if he'll even return this season. Maybe they'll just do his work off camera if he comes back. I don't know if Daenerys will invade Westeros this season. One of two things could happen. By the end of the season, she could be preparing to invade Westeros using the Ironborn fleet, or she could basically take back Meereen from the Sons of the Harpy. Like, that storyline gets resolved. I know there's been political stuff with Tyrion and Varys in terms of the Sons of the Harpy, which has been minor stuff. It's been interesting, but at the same time, it's kind of just been minor political building to rectify a situation that was made wrong. So I'm not sure if Daenerys is just going to come back and deal with the Sons of the Harpy, or if they're going to still be rectified in a political manner with Varys and Tyrion. Who knows? I think that it's really cool that Daenerys is just getting this huge ass army. She's got so many fucking people at this rate. It's crazy. It's just so crazy how she's gone to, like, the Unsullied, Dothraki, the people of Meereen who are willing to fight for her. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And of course she's got her dragons, which 2 of them are now free thanks to Tyrion. So I don't know when they'll break free. I'm assuming they'll maybe burn some of those Sons of the Harpy people if that situation gets out of control. So all 3 dragons will be reunited. So that's with Daenerys. The Ironborn storyline is starting up again. Theon and Euron now, a new character, the uncle of Theon, the brother of Balon, who was killed pretty quickly. That's yet another character who was introduced in Season 6, we haven't seen in a while, just to be killed. I'd like to see where they're going with Euron. I don't know how quickly he's going to amass this ginormous fleet. Remember, he's like, build me 1,000 ships and I'll give you the world. He wants to merge with Daenerys, considering the Ironborn and the Greyjoys did support the Targaryens during the Mad King's reign. I don't know how quickly they're going to make 1,000 ships. I mean, I guess they could try, but at the same time, it's probably going to be a long endeavor. Theon and his sister stole the best ships, and now I don't know what's going to go on with that. Now that they're in hiding, how are they going to take back the Iron Islands? Are they going to take them back? I don't know. That's a separate plot line of a bigger plot line that's going to be converging. So we'll see what happens with that. The King's Landing stuff has been some of the most interesting material to me. Just the whole... I love how the High Sparrow and the religious faith, the faith militant, have been able to just fuck over everybody. The Tyrells, Cersei's Walk of Shame last season. It's really hilarious to me to see this old, wrinkly guy with no shoes just fucking beating down these heavily... like, these invincible people. Because for many, many seasons, Cersei and all these king's people have been so powerful and just they can just do no wrong, they can do whatever they want, and now all of a sudden this religious fanatical group takes over and just throws everything into fucking chaos. I like that they give Kevin Lannister more time. I like him even though that they don't give him that much treat. I just think he just gives zero fucks. Like the scene where Cersei and Jaime basically just sit down and they're like, "Oh, you can't make us leave," but then Kevin's like, "Well, you can't make us stay," and he just walks out with some of the other council people. I just like how he just doesn't give a fuck. I think he makes a cool hand of the king. He's not as vocal as Tywin, but he's still pretty vocal when he needs to be. Some people have been getting pissed at Tommen, saying that he's, still soft, not as ruthless as Joffrey. With the recent episode, it looks like the High Sparrow has him on his side now that there's an alliance between the Faith and the Crown. I don't know where that's going to go. I know in the trailer there's scenes of the Mountain killing some of the High Sparrow's people. So who knows if that situation will be resolved by the end of the season. I feel like there has to be some temporary solution because they left it off at the end of Season 5 after Cersei's Walk of Atonement. They left it off with the Mountain being resurrected, that there would be a reckoning for the High Sparrow and his people. So I want to say that by the end of Season 6, there will be a resolution to that. That either the Faith Militant will be destroyed, there will be some type of new alliance. something. There'll be an acceptance of it, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. And then I guess the final thing to remark upon is the flashbacks and the White Walker stuff. We learned a lot of stuff this season so far. We learned how the White Walkers were made. We discovered that Benjen Stark is actually still out there. He saves Bran in the most recent episode. The Three-Eyed Raven stuff with all the visions of the past, the Tower of Joy, that incredible fight scene between the young Ned Stark and that Kingsguard Targaryen guy. Crazy stuff. Awesome, awesome. We actually got to see the Mad King in person via one of Bran's flashbacks. So the flashbacks have been awesome. This is the first season the show has done proper flashbacks. And I know the creators have hesitated because they feel like it would be lazy storytelling, but because Bran is having the visions, this is cool because we get to see so much more than we would have. I always joked around saying that, oh, maybe the show should do a prequel series. That would solve it, you know? But I always think maybe they should do the prequel series, like the Mad King, the War of the Mad King. I don't know. But, I mean, you kind of already know what happens after, to be fair. But that's what they do with Better Call Saul, so previous TV shows have done it. So I feel like Game of Thrones could get away with it, considering how big it is. So, anyway, that's what's going on basically with the show. There's probably one or two characters, storylines I missed. I know the Blackfish and Walder Frey, they're back. They're back in the fray. Haha. Get it? So it'll be cool to see how they get thrown back into the conflict. But now that the Blackfish has taken River Run, will he get his forces down to Sansa in time for the Battle of the Boltons? Who knows? We'll see. It'll definitely be an interesting endeavor. I'm interested to see if you guys want me to do reaction videos. I'm still probably going to try them, see how they are. I don't know if I'll have the full episode alongside it, but we'll see what I can get away with the whole HBO thing. So that's basically my thoughts on Season 6. There's just been so much content, so much quality, even for the stuff that I haven't liked. It's awesome. So let me guys know what your thoughts on Season 6 are. Or, you know, so far I'd give it a 9 so far, just that's this halfway point. So, super cool, and I'm looking forward to it. So, thank you guys, and I shall see you for a later video. Peace out.